Hey, what's up? This is Paul Solt. I'm doing a little update about a indie app that I've been working on. This is my coffee app. I'm a big pour over coffee fan. And what I have here is an app that allows me to use a recipe I use for Hario V60 every single morning, or when I'm entertaining guests, I'll do Chemex. And that is the 6 cup Chemex. So I can quickly dial in how much coffee I want to make. Typically, I make 56 grams with Chemex, and with Hario, I used to make 21 grams, but since I'm making it for myself and my wife, I now default to 40 grams. So this is the app. There's a bunch of different settings, and it's been a while since I updated this, mainly because I had a kid, and it works well enough for me to not have to update it. But I do have a beta test going on, and it's been going on for many years. And it's just been a sort of a free app for people to play around with as I tinker with coffee and try and figure out what to do. So I want to give a little development update. I just updated some stuff. This one thing I've been trying to do for a really long time, and it first started at WWDC 2019 when SwiftUI was like super fresh. I couldn't do what I wanted to do at the time, and so I kind of just tabled it. And that's related to the animations that play. So once I hit the start, there's a sound effect that lets you know that the first stage has started. And then now there's this animation. Now, this was all done with SwiftUI, and the animation is a two-part animation, and then it sort of will collapse. So that is the gist of it. I have this recipe just set up to be super fast so I could just preview those animations. It's a very subtle thing. This has taken me ages to get right, and then I just finally integrated it. So, um, small things. And now when you hit done, you can start it up again. We can look at that animation. We'll see it. You'll see there's a little bounce here. So when this 2 gets finished, it will bounce the check mark and then go to the next stage. So it's a multi-part animation, and then it will collapse everything and then right align everything. So there's some complex layout that actually happens. And so that was quite a bit of code. That was all of this code to do that work, and sort of just jiggering it so that it could work. That happens in my brew stage class. I probably should refactor this, but I'm not super worried about it at this time. So that's like 348 lines of code. I'm not using everything because I ran into some stuff where I was trying to dynamically size things and that messed up things. So the gist of it is all powered by the view model, and I have the ability to turn off stages. One of the other issues when you're like polishing an app, if we go into this and I hit start, we want the animations to happen while the app is active. But if you actually go into the background, I don't want to do that. And so I need a way to update the state without animation. Doing all that, I had to add in a lot of extra plumbing to do that. So if we jump back in, we can see that it goes to that final stage. Now there's just one more bug to fix where the size of the font is getting changed incorrectly. So there's always something else, and that has been a bug since like the very beginning. I need to fix that, but I'm not going to do that just yet because we're just going over what I fixed. So that was the big animation update. I've been waiting years to do that. It's 2025. I first wrote the animation logic for that in 2019. Um, yeah, so that's been a while. So the next, I just changed to only support iOS right now, and I think iPad OS. Just cleaning up some old comments, and then the next big thing I just did was all of these recipe detail cleanup, and this is in a better state. It's not exactly where I want it, but I figured might as well get it closer to the finish line sooner rather than later. So this also highlights another bug that I need to fix, but I added 2 new settings. So like I was watching how people will update their recipes, and so I do everything in grams for a Hario V60, and you're either modifying the coffee weight down to 21 grams or you're modifying the water weight, and you want to say, okay, I want a certain amount of water. Um, I now have another control in here for the water to coffee ratio. So I noticed that when I was trying to update this, sometimes I don't want the water to change. And so if you were going to start updating your Hario V60, typically I set it to 16.2. I want to lock the water weight. So once I set like the water weight, let's say I want to fix the water weight to this. And now I want to experiment with ratio changes. I want that to update the coffee weight, not the water weight as I change. So that's just a small little change. If I turn that off, you'll notice that the water weight changes. If I turn it on, you'll notice that the coffee weight changes. And so those are these two fields here. So that changes how you want to try and match our existing recipe. The other change I think is a bigger change, and this requires more work on another screen. So I don't have this fully supported yet, but it's this concept of a precise mode, and this highlights another bug that I need to talk about. Um, so as you scroll left and right, it will update using tenths of a gram, which is great if you want to dial something in, and then you can use the stepper to step at tenths of a gram. So I had the plumbing in here to sort of expose this, but I didn't have an option, and I wasn't sure where that option should live. For right now, I'm going to put it right here. This might go into like an overall user setting, and so you can see that that's going to turn on the decimal place or turn it off. Now, this gets a little bit weird with how I've currently coded up the gesture logic, so that when you go into precise mode, all of a sudden, sometimes you'll see like .3, and that's where it just sort of last left off. And you don't see that when you're here. It just sort of updates as you sort of expect. That there is like a tenth of, or sorry, 100th decimal point that is not displaying, that is being updated. So the logic's not quite how I want it. Basically, when you're in this mode, I kind of want it to just round as soon as I let go. Right now it is not rounding, so that when you come back to it, you can keep sort of modifying it and it sort of leaves off where you last were. I need some way of rounding it so that when you switch over to the precise mode, whichever one you last updated should be the one that is rounded a little bit better. So that's just like a minor thing that I need to fix. But that is kind of the state of things. So just trying to keep these things precise. I had a reset to default recipe. This is if you totally mess up a recipe. So we've totally destroyed this recipe because I've got these fast timings on. If I want to go back to a known state, I do reset recipe to defaults, and that is going to update the timing to 30 seconds for my bloom, 230 for the pour, and the drain at 3 minutes. So this is typically my recipe, and that's the big update. So now I should be able to brew and go through. So the next piece of the puzzle is if that precision mode is enabled, I need to show an additional decimal point here and here, and I need to show them on this screen as well, but I'm not currently doing that. And the rounding behavior is a little bit different. So I think that's my next task, but this was the first free moment that I had to like work through the changes. I just wanted to get it off my plate because I want to get this in the App Store instead of just being in beta. So that is Brew Coffee. If you want to check it out, you can sign up. That's going to be signup.brewcoffeeapp.com. You enter your email and your name, you can download the beta, and I will see you in the next video. So thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed sort of a behind the scenes look at one of my long coming apps, hit the like button, subscribe if you want more updates on just working with SwiftUI. This app is a combination of let's see. It is Swift. I've got XIB files because it's so old. I don't know. Okay, this screen, this new thing is this is my first SwiftUI component in this app. Everything else is UIKit and storyboards or programmatic UI. So I did programmatic UI for the details screen. So if you want any other details on that, just let me know. Right now it's just get it out the door and not worry about rewriting everything from scratch in SwiftUI because some of these components are somewhat complicated and they already work and I don't want to break them. All right. I will see you in the next video. Have a great day and enjoy.